Let's take this basic 2-chord progression and add a groove to it that sounds like this. This groove is a great example of syncopation between the hands. Syncopation means putting emphasis on an unexpected part of the beat. So let's break down the syncopation here into 5 simple steps, and with each step along the way, you'll have a chance to practice and develop your rhythm. A good place to start when working on syncopation is to remember that underneath the most complex rhythms, there is still always a pulse or a beat that continues forward in a steady manner. So listen to the pattern and just try to count along with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to be the foundation on which you add everything that we do with our hands. Right? So don't think about the rhythm that you're playing as something that's created purely by your hands. Think about it as something that lives outside of the individual rhythms that you're playing. It's this expected pattern that we hear, this continuous beat, and that's going to keep going regardless of how you change the specific rhythm in your hands. Now, to get started with playing and counting at the same time, I want you just to play the bass notes on beat 1. That'll be C, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4. Now that might feel really basic or boring, but for most adult piano students, both counting and playing at the same time can be a surprising coordination challenge. So start by just trying to do that and focus on the counting as the more important thing that you're doing. My teacher growing up would always say the counting has to be louder than the piano, because most students' temptation is to count really softly and eventually stop counting altogether. All right, now let's add our first bit of syncopation. We're going to add a right-hand chord on beats 2 and 4. So here I'm playing a first inversion C major chord, and I'm going to play it on beats 2 and 4, and this is often called a backbeat in popular music. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can do the same thing with the F minor chord. I'll play a root position F minor chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we consider that emphasis on 2 and 4 a syncopation because typically in 4/4 time, there's a bit of an emphasis on the first beat of the measure and the third beat of the measure. So this 2 and 4 emphasis is syncopation. That's not to say that it isn't super, super common. In fact, in most rock or pop drums, it's expected that there is this emphasis on 2 and 4 in the snare drum, and that's what's called a backbeat. Now for the third step, we're not going to add any new rhythm or notes. I'm just going to suggest that you play along with some sort of timekeeping device. So a good place to start is always a metronome. You can put on your metronome. Imagine that it's a drummer that's just playing the simplest beat possible, and you're playing music with your friend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Now, if you do want to play with a more complex backing track, another great idea is to play along with recordings. And that leads us to the sponsor for this video, LALAL.ai. LALAL.ai is an AI stem splitter. Let me explain that term if you haven't heard of stem splitters before. Stems are the different audio tracks for different instruments in a typical audio recording. So AI is now capable of taking a complete audio recording, say from a song that you like, and identifying the sounds of those different instruments. This is a great practice tool for music students. So to show you how this works, I created a track that combines our piano groove here with some percussion. That's what they sound like together, and that's what I uploaded to the LALAL.ai web app. We can now mute the piano if we like. And we're just hearing the percussion. I can play along if I want. And LALAL.ai did a great job separating out these stems. It was basically indistinguishable from when I muted the different audio tracks in my actual recording software. So you can see the useful applications for this for a music student. I often suggest for students to play along with recordings that they like, and this gives you a lot more flexibility for what parts of the recording you're playing along to. If you'd like to try it, you can support this channel by using the link to LALAL.ai in the video description. For step 4, I want to add some more syncopation into our left hand. And this now is going to come on the 8th note subdivision. So instead of just counting quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, we need to divide those beats in half by counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And this left hand note is coming on the and of 3. It sounds like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Practice by counting those subdivisions. And one thing that helps sometimes with playing on an and like this is to think of it more as belonging to the beat that it leads into. So we're playing on the and of 3, yes, but I think about this as if it's leading into beat 4. And 4. These 8th note subdivisions are often called upbeats, and an upbeat leads into a downbeat. We only have one final bit of syncopation to get to the full pattern that I played, and that's another upbeat 8th note syncopation in the right hand. It'll come on and of 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now keep in mind, many of you may be able to play that full pattern more intuitively without counting out all of the subdivisions. But a lot of times, especially with more beginner students, you'll think that you're playing the rhythm really accurately when you pick it up intuitively like that, but you're actually rushing or dragging on certain parts of the beat. So learning the coordination of counting and playing at the same time is a great way to make your rhythm more consistent so that you can groove better, whether you're playing alone at the piano or whether you're playing in a band with other people. If you enjoyed this step-by-step learning approach, that's my strength as a teacher, and it's the ethos behind my Piano Fluency membership program. We take you step by step through a progression in difficulty to develop at the piano. So if you're curious about that, go to pianofluency.com. This video is part 4 of a 10-part series I'm doing on adding different grooves to these 2 simple chords. So you're also welcome to watch the full playlist for that series. I'll leave that here. And with that, I want to thank you for joining me. My name is Ted with Piano Fluency.